What is going on, everyone? Nuclear Ninjas here, and today we are checking out XL Lileep in the Great League Remix Cup. Lileep is a grass rock type with similar stat product to Lapras, but its moveset leaves something to be desired. Bullet Seed is an unobtainable legacy that I haven't obtained, and its only rock move is Ancient Power, which is awful. I had a hard time team building with this thing due to its large number of weaknesses, but eventually I got some suggestions from the community in Shrady's Discord, and I was able to build the team of Lileep with Infestation, Ancient Power, Grass Knot, Toxicroak with Counter, Mud Bomb, Sludge Bomb, and Bronzong with Confusion, Heavy Slam, Psyshock. With all that said, let's get into the battles. So jumping into my first battle here, I pick up a matchup against Juhosevic, and get a nice little let's go screen popping up right before the battle because this game is amazing and never glitches out whatsoever. And we get a matchup Lileep into Hypno. This is actually a pretty decent matchup for Lileep because the infestations are super effective and we slightly outspam the Hypno. But the downside is, okay, the opponent did not build up to Focus Blast. If this is a Shadow Ball, they might actually be able to Confusion down before I get off a good move. Now, I'm kind of expecting them to shield here and try to take Switch, so I throw the Ancient Power because it's a little bit cheaper. The opponent does not shield to try to take Switch, but we're able to farm down. I realize I'm not getting to Grass Knot, try to throw the Ancient Power, but I was already locked into the Infestation animation, and unfortunately get overtapped a little bit. So, we're going to come in with Bronzong, and this was basically just a hard counter backline. I'm very glad I went to Bronzong and not Toxicroak because both are actually pretty good Hitmonchan responses, but just going to tank this Thunder on the Toxicroak, throw a Mud Bomb at the Linoon to try to draw a shield, and then probably, maybe not quite counter down, but Confusion down with the Bronzong, but the opponent actually opts to no shield, and I'm like, okay, this is feeling like a reverse 2-shield flex. I'm just going to Confusion you all the way down without throwing any more charge moves. And goodbye, Hitmonchan. So, pretty comfortable win there the first battle. In the end, I basically just had them countered in the back line, so moving on. Jumping into my second battle, picking up a matchup against Bear Chen Jaeger. I don't know, I'm pronouncing that like Aaron Yeager because I can. Lileep into Flygon. This is a decent matchup for Lileep. It's a lot tankier than Flygon. I build up to the Grass Knot and then go for Ancient Power because I'm actually kind of expecting the Flygon to shield here. Unfortunately, the Flygon does not shield. And this is pretty rough at this point because this Flygon is going to be able to shield my next Grass Knot most likely and take Switch and also come out of this with a decent amount of energy. The Earth Power does not KO, but it puts me in farm down range and I get the defense drop. So this is a really awkward scenario now because I pretty much have to just switch out to avoid getting farmed all the way down. And this Flygon is just going to be spamming out moves like crazy here, and I have to shield because I'm afraid of the Earth Power. So they bait with Dragon Claw, get the shield. They go for another Dragon Claw. I shield this because, again, I'm afraid of the Earth Power. And then for some reason the opponent aggressively swaps into Machamp. And I'm like, okay, what the heck is in your back line that you're swapping Machamp into Toxicroak on purpose? So, I'm going to be getting off these Mud Bombs here, which are going to be drawing shields. Then we deal a ton of damage and take out the Machamp with a counter. Toxicroak is a very hard Machamp response. And there's an Abomasnow in the back, and I'm worried they're going to get to the Weather Ball before I reach a Sludge Bomb, so I just throw this Mud Bomb when I have it. They can't farm me down. Yep, that was a CMP tie that I just forced there, so better to get the Mud Bomb damage than nothing, although this is basically a win at this point because Flygon can't get to an Earth Power, and Bronzong is going to be able to just Confusion everything down. So, picking up another win in game number 2, hopping into a new recording session. And I pick up my next battle against HDTQ. So HDTQ, we've got Lileep into Machamp, absolutely terrible, but I do have 2 great responses to Machamp in the back. I go to Toxicroak. I'm expecting them to force CMP there, so I overtap. That was not an accidental overtap, that was strategic, but my opponent called my play. I realize I'm not going to be able to farm all the way down here without shielding, so I decided to throw the Mud Bomb because I don't want to go down on shields yet. The opponent actually shields and then swaps to Berserker. I'm just able to get to the Mud Bomb here, which is going to either annihilate the Berserker or draw the second shield. Now, normally this would be bad. Berserker beats both of my backline Pokemon, or both my remaining Pokemon. Lileep's the lead, not the backline. But because I have 2 shields, I'm feeling pretty good about this because I can just Grass Knot the Berserker here for some decent resisted damage and then go to Bronzong and Confusion down. So at this point, yeah, they're going to have to throw, and I'm like, you know what, I'm putting it all up to Bronzong. Go ahead, close combat me. I'm fine with that. And I go to Bronzong and deal some heavy confusion damage to the Berserker, and a Registeel comes out. Now, if I had Bulldoze, this would be a decent situation. The opponent tries to catch on Machamp there and fails. If I had Bulldoze, this would be a decent situation because I would be able to hit for super effective, but unfortunately everything is neutral. I realize if the opponent goes straight Focus Blast here, I literally can't win. I have to just call the bait and hope they bait in order to have a win condition, and the opponent gives me a win condition by baiting. So yeah, the lesson there is sometimes it's not worth it to bait. Only bait if you have to bait in order to win, because like I said, I definitely would have lost this if they went straight Focus Blast. And now I'm going to be able to get to this next Heavy Slam. Honestly, I don't even know the energy efficiencies on Heavy Slam and Psyshock. I'm not sure which is better to go for there. Go to Lileep, try to throw the Ancient Power. They, unfortunately, are able to react fast enough to throw the move before I snipe them. But that's fine because Bronzong can pretty comfortably Confusion down here and have an HP left over. So that is, I believe, win number 3. Moving way too fast while sitting still, unfortunately, right there. Jumping into my 4th battle, we get a match against Hydebun, and we get Lileep into Dragonite. Now, this is great because Shadow Dragonite is, again, insanely glassy, so I'm going to be able to pressure some shields here, especially if they don't realize it's Ancient Power and think I have Rock Slide or something. Let's be honest, not everyone has memorized the moveset for Lileep yet. And the Ancient Power is going to come through and, as expected, gets the shield. And they are going to have to either throw or get Ancient Powered here, or they could catch on Probopass. Which, nice catch. This is still not good for you, because now I'm going to be able to come into Toxicroak and just counter all the way down without them getting to a move or even dealing much damage. I have over 2/3 of my health left, tons of energy loaded, and still shield advantage. Dragonite comes in. I'm ready to commit to a shield here and just go straight Sludge Bomb. Let's see if they decide to shield or if they decide to leave it up to whatever they have in the back. They either decided to leave it up to what was in the back or they were trying to call a bait there, not actually sure which one. And at this point, I see the Shadow Vic, and this is over as long as I keep attacking because Bronzong resists the Razor Leafs and has super effective confusion damage. The opponent is staying in, staying in, staying in. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to shield this Acid Spray. Just to make them happy that they can feel like they baited me with Acid Spray. I don't think Shadow Vic actually learns anything that can even take out Bronzong at that health, but I was playing it safe because the last thing you want to do is throw a match trying to flex. So jumping into the 5th battle of the set here, we meet Murakazu PH. And oh hey, instead of Dragonite, it's Dragonair this time. Now Dragonair is actually a much better response to Lileep than Dragonite. So I decided to actually switch out, and I'm hoping that they're going to switch out here, but unfortunately they're staying in. Draw a shield with the Aqua Tail. And I'm going to throw this Mud Bomb right before the opponent gets to the next draw. I forget what charge move this thing has. Aqua Tail. For some reason I'm thinking Water Tail, and that's not a real move. Anyway, able to win CMP, get off the second Mud Bomb, and KO the Dragonair. So not exactly how I expected that battle to go, but I'll take it. That's a pretty okay result. And we have a Drapion. Now, I absolutely cannot bring Bronzong in against Drapion, obviously, so let's go Lileep. And I build up like I'm pretending I have Stone Edge or something, or maybe they'll just assume there's some hard-hitting move coming and shield. But unfortunately, it's just an Ancient Power. Lileep really needs Rock Slide, basically. That's the message of this video. Lileep needs Rock Slide. Going for another Ancient Power. I'm going to let this go because I'd rather just save my shield for Bronzong, and I know I can tank it. Building up, over farming a little bit there so I have some energy. Maybe I can get off a move against whatever's in the back after I take the Drapion out. And Deja Vu. I feel like I already fought a Registeel in the back. Except this time the Registeel actually has a shield, so... Now this opponent does go straight Focus Blast, but my Bronzong is at health where it can tank a Focus Blast. And I'm going to start spamming off Psyshocks, which is very boring. Get a shield with the first Psyshock, so I decided I can go for Heavy Slam at this point because, I don't know, it costs more energy. I felt like maybe it was more energy efficient. I don't know for sure if it is or not. At this point, I have to shield even if this is just a Flash Cannon. And now, I'm pretty sure my win con here, it's going to be tricky. Basically, I need to get to Lileep, hit them with a move, and then force them to throw. Or, okay, I decided to just leave it up to Lileep, apparently. So now I just have to get to this move with Lileep. And I throw right away because if the lock-ons deal too much more damage, I'm dead anyway. So I don't need to worry about the catch. Able to survive one Poison Sting and Infestation down. Taking the win. And there you have it. 5-0. Couple of really close battles there with Lileep. You can see me taking the screenshots to go brag on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at GBL Nuclear Ninja. Catching my Chinchou and climbing up to 2243. So overall, would I recommend Lileep for Great League Remix? No, just run Cradily. Lileep technically has a slightly better stat product, but Cradily has access to Stone Edge, which just makes it so much better. My recommendation, Lileep should have Bullet Seed as a obtainable move, and also have Rock Slide added to its move pool. Then it would function as a slightly better Cradily, and the extra cost might be worth it. Like the video if you like the video, dislike if you dislike, drop a comment below on what other ridiculous XLs you would like to see in GBL, and subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future. Later.